The global plant-based market could swell to $166 billion in the next decade. While alternative meats and dairy make up the bulk of that, plant-based eggs are a small but growing category. Leading the pack is Eat Just. It spent 4 years searching for a plant that could make an egg, and it struck gold with the mung bean.
It turned out to be this bean that has been in the food system for such a long time that had something inside of it, the protein, that makes a pretty good tasting egg. Eventually, we want it to taste a whole lot better than an egg. Eventually, we want it to be a lot less costly than an egg. And the long-term goal of the company is for the majority of the world's eggs not to come from chickens and cages and all the land and all the water, but from a bean. That's the work that we focus on every day.
A growing number of companies are trying to crack the vegan egg market, and Josh says the competition is good.
I want more companies, whether they're making eggs from plants or eggs from mushrooms or eggs from anything but chickens, to get in, because I think it pushes us and I think it helps to expand the market. We're going to continue to dominate it. We're going to continue to invest in technology, continue to invest in lowering the cost, and continue to build really the first global egg brand.
Technology leaves a huge opening for other companies because eggs are often used just as an ingredient. So that means that for a company to replace an egg, it doesn't necessarily need to exactly copy an egg. It only needs to copy the job the egg is doing.
And that's what the Every company is doing. It's created an animal-free egg white replacement using precision fermentation. The egg white is being used to create products like these, vegan macarons.
We don't use any animals. All of the proteins that we work with are found in online databases. And so our products are 100% vegan, and they're also 100% animal protein. They have the same amino acid profile, same nutritional profile. Eggs have hundreds of proteins. We pick and choose the different proteins that are responsible for the foaming properties, the gelation properties, the nutritional properties. And so we have this beautiful opportunity to essentially reimagine what the food of the future can look like. The egg white is like the crown jewel of the culinary world. It is incredibly functional. If we could win over a French pastry chef, we could win over the world.
Thanks for watching my video. Today, I want to continue with where you left off on every egg. If you haven't seen my TCS video of their incredible macarons, cards in the corner. Before I get to that, I want to talk about the Bloomberg video that you just watched. So I included both Just Egg and Every Egg segments of the video because it's important to understand as the technology develops, we're going to move from plant-based products to animal-free, animal protein products. So animal proteins that are grown in bioreactors. If you think about the products that are on the market today, Eat Just started with a plant-based product. So that's kind of like equivalent to when we look at the transition from using gas cars to electric cars. This would be driving a Prius. So where the next level of technology hasn't developed yet, we need some kind of a bridge technology. Plant-based products like this Just Egg and products like Beyond Burger, they're all plant-based. And so I see those plant-based products as a bridge technology. If we're starting from pure animal proteins from factory farms, then we have a bridge technology using these plant proteins. And then we have a animal-free precision fermentation technology. So we need to get that technology as good, if not better, than the animal products we have today. And currently we have the Beyond Burger, we have the Just Egg, we have those companies in the middle. So Eat Just is now moving into cellular agriculture with their meat products. I don't know if they're going to introduce more of that cellular agriculture technology into their egg product as well, but it really wouldn't surprise me because ultimately we're trying to get to that next level of technology. Okay, so that's Eat Just. Then let's look at someone like the Every company. They've created an animal protein egg white. It's real animal proteins. This, where they currently are, would be kind of like the first Tesla Roadster that was on the Lotus chassis. That would really be where we are with the Every company egg white. Really early days. Where did we start and where are we going? Think about that technology line. Here's a good article from back in 2016 that talks about a vegan substitute for egg whites. So this is back before we had the Every Company. I'm just gonna go quickly through the article, but the main point is all about this product called Aquafaba. Back in the day, if you think back to like 12 years ago, for example, when I tried to become vegan, it was impossible to get good, high quality desserts. And at that time, that turned me off being vegan because I was like, well, why should I compromise for this shit? The story begins with an American man named Goose Wolt. He was set the almost impossible task of creating a vegan substitute for meringues. That didn't suck. And what he found was that he could use chickpeas. By whipping chickpea water, you can get the similar type of foaming that you can with real whipped egg whites. This is as close as we can get to real egg whites in vegan cooking. Until now, we have the Every Company. As you would have seen in my previous video with the macaron taste test, you can see that the chef praises the Every Company because it is not a starch, it is real animal protein. So this chickpea technology gap, the filler, the desire to have a vegan product has been there for so long, and now we're finally getting proper egg white products here. Normally, fake egg whites kind of suck. If you do a quick Google search, common egg substitutes for vegans include silken tofu, flax seeds, chia seeds, bananas, and even manufactured egg replacements made from potato and tapioca starch. You can use all these replacements in baking, it's pretty easy, but the holy grail that's always eluded vegans has been those products made with beaten egg whites, souffles, meringues, angel food cakes, nougats, macarons, anything French, sugary, and delicious. So all of the good desserts that I loved 12 years ago when I was trying to become vegan sucked. And now we finally have the Every Company who has made vegan egg protein via fermentation. At the start, to try and counter this issue, egg white substitutes often included bubble making agents like baking powder, baking soda, and vinegar to create the same foam peaks you get after whipping the egg whites. There's recipes that suggest using bubble retaining foods like applesauce, mashed bananas, or ground chia seeds as well, but as you would expect, it just isn't the same as the real thing. Maybe I'm not even vegan, okay? Let's just say I don't give a shit about being vegan. I like my eggs. Why is the Every Company still going to win every time? Because a regular egg white is made up of about 90% water and 10% protein. All we need to do to replace the egg in these types of cooking is we need to replace the 10% protein. Water's cheap as fuck. And it's way cheaper than growing a chicken to lay an egg, to then process that egg, to then get the egg white that we need, separate the yolks, all that shit. Even if I'm not a vegan, I'm still going to use this product because it's just better. Okay, so let's look at the website because they have some super interesting things here. So as we can see, we have three different products. We have the Every Protein. So this is animal-free soluble egg white protein. Every Protein has the power to unlock new to the world protein boosted beverages and food products. So if you go to the gym and you want to get a protein shake afterwards, commonly you're going to be using whey protein or you're going to be using some other kind of animal proteins. That's how you're going to get your proteins in your protein shakes. The Every Protein has a neutral sensory profile and offers superior optical clarity and application versatility compared to leading proteins on the market, both animal and plant-based, enabling a protein boost to any hot or cold beverage. So if you want a protein shake, you go to the Safeway, you grab one of those protein shakes out of the fridge. This is the protein that you can now use to put in the application, and it is better than the animal proteins, as we can see here with the properties. If I am a beverage company, I have a choice to use soy proteins, pea proteins, whey proteins, or egg white proteins. And as we can see here, the every protein looks kind of like water. You don't have to change the look of your beverage based on this product. You can make whatever kind of beverage you want. And there's going to be no taste difference or look difference by adding the every protein. In my opinion, this protein is going to win every time because it's going to be cheaper than eggs and it's going to be more useful to beverage companies than whey protein, pea protein, and soy protein. Before we get to the egg white, then we have pepsin. So what is pepsin? Pepsin is a digestive enzyme that your body uses to digest proteins. So if you're eating meat or any animal products, you're going to use pepsin to digest those products. So a lot of companies are putting this digestive enzyme into their products, and currently most of it is sourced from pigs. So until every pepsin, the enzyme was inextricably linked to the pork supply chain, which could be highly volatile. Again, if you think back to the Wired article video I had, Car in the Corner, one of the huge disruptors of this industry, the huge changes, the huge benefits that we're going to get, is that we no longer have a volatile supply chain. If I lose all of my farm animals in some sort of a natural disaster, I don't have to wait 5 more years for them to grow. If the market crashes, I don't have to sell at a loss. The current market for animals, animal agriculture, industrial agriculture is highly volatile because you have to raise an animal for a number of years before it gets to the point where you can actually use it for products. We don't have that problem if we use stuff from a lab. So our process ensures greater quality and purity and a secure, consistent sourcing. Our animal-free and nature-identical every pepsin is a direct one-to-one porcine pepsin replacement that is easier on the planet and more effective and consistent in the end product. So back in the day, we would have gotten our insulin from pigs. We don't do that anymore. Why? Because it's cheaper and we get a better product when we make it in a lab. Now we're seeing the same thing with pepsin using precision fermentation. Egg white proteins deliver functionality and versatility required across multiple applications, which is why plant-based eggs often fall short. In the case of the chef explaining that aquafaba is a starch and it doesn't perform as well. We also saw in this vegan egg substitute articles why it's just not as good. Okay. Substitutes, although great as a bridge technology, have not been as good as the real thing. Every egg white can be used in a wide variety of applications, from delicate desserts to mixes and patties. So we can see we can use this for all of those types of French baking needs that I described. French baking can now become vegan. It's amazing. We can also put it in pasta, noodles, cocktails, protein bars, sauces, dressings, any kind of food that could use an egg white. Okay, so we have these three things: pepsin, egg whites, and protein for protein bars, protein powders that we no longer need to source from an animal. That small percentage change in the ingredients have now been made. And so this is going to completely take the market share for those use cases away from the animal agriculture industry. Okay, so how do we invest in this? This is still very early days in terms of scaling the technology, right? We now have a proof of concept. If you saw the taste test, the every egg white works as a one-to-one replacement in a macaron. We have the technology now, we need to scale it. So it's going to take some time. Now is a really good time to invest because we're starting at the bottom. And over time, as we scale up, this will become a greater percentage of the market versus animal proteins from the animal agriculture industry. Here is a company based out of London called Agronomics. They are very similar to Cult Food Science, which I talked about in one of my earlier videos. Essentially, they're an investment platform that allows investors in the public markets to access these private companies who are working on cellular agriculture. Agronomics Limited, here's the ticker price on the London Stock Exchange, is a London listed company that is focused on opportunities within the field of cellular agriculture. Only recently have viable technologies emerged with the potential to displace animal husbandry. These solutions include the replication, simulation, or substitution of animal protein and are driving the formation of an entirely new industry. Adoption of these technologies is vital to prevent irreversible damage to the natural environment by the industrial animal agriculture industry and to address growing concern for animal welfare in the industrial animal agriculture industry. The company will provide shareholders with exposure to a concentrated portfolio of companies in this area. Okay, so let's see what kind of companies they are investing in. And what I would recommend, in my opinion, do your own research. This is not financial advice. I would look at both agronomics and cult food science because they both invest in completely different portfolio companies. And at this point in time, it's really hard to tell who's going to be the winner. And so you have to take a bit more of a venture capital investing mindset and say, well, maybe 30% of my portfolio will do well, and the other 70%, maybe they won't do well. Maybe they'll all do well. Um, it really is hard to tell because we're still very early days in terms of developing the technology. I think, in my opinion, that the food industry is going to be a bit more spread out, which means that these individual portfolio companies will all have some sort of a place to play because the food industry eventually it'll be brought up by some of the larger brands and will consolidate in the future, but I think a lot of these companies have a good chance. Either way, I would be investing in both agronomics and cult food science. So let's look at their portfolio highlights. So we have cultivated chicken, cultivated leather, precision fermentation dairy and plant-based meat, precision fermentation dairy proteins, precision fermentation designer proteins. So this would be for collagen or other makeup products, which we now get from animals, cultivated seafood, cultivated pork and beef. Oh, we have the every company here. Precision fermentation, egg proteins. We have a bunch of other things. More egg proteins. Again, there is more than one company doing this. Food out of thin air. I'm going to talk about them in another video. Plant-based holding company. So they would also be an investment company. Cultivated pork, cultivated beef, gene-edited crops. They actually focus on trying to get rid of palm oil, sustainable chocolate, which is cultured chocolate. So instead of manufacturing cacao beans, we just grow the cacao in a lab. Wagyu beef, fermentation contract manufacturing, right? So we're going to have hundreds of companies trying to ferment different meat products, different dairy products, different chocolate products. This company is actually building the fermentation technology, and they're just contracting their fermentation capacity out to other companies who want to use it. Okay, so again, we're going to get into all of these portfolio companies and all of this in later videos. Cultivated seafood and pet foods, and on and on and on. Okay, so they have a really good portfolio, I would say, and if you combine their portfolio with the cultivated food science portfolio, I think you're doing pretty well. So, in my opinion, do your own research. That's what I would do. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it was useful.